The power of no is all about embracing empty space. Not doing something is always faster than doing it. This simple truth is the foundation of productivity. When we say yes to everything, we fill our days with tasks, leaving no space for what truly matters. Think of a blank canvas. It holds the potential for a masterpiece. Each no is like clearing a space on that canvas, making room for the important strokes. Imagine a computer program. Every line of code adds complexity. Sometimes the most elegant solution is deleting lines, simplifying the code for better performance. The same applies to our lives. Removing unnecessary tasks, saying no to commitments that don't align with our goals, allows us to operate at our best. Meetings are often prime examples of this. How often do we find ourselves in meetings that could have been emails, or worse, were entirely unnecessary? Each accepted meeting invitation is time taken away from focused work, creative thinking, or simply recharging. By saying no to these time wasters, we reclaim our schedules, creating space for what truly drives us towards our goals. It's about being intentional with our time, recognizing that every yes has an opportunity cost. The illusion of yes leads to overcommitment and its costs. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness. Saying yes is often seen as a badge of honor, a sign of ambition and willingness. However, this constant striving for more can lead to overcommitment, a state where our commitments outweigh our capacity to fulfill them effectively. The costs of overcommitment are significant. Our work suffers as we spread ourselves too thin. Our relationships suffer as we lack the time and energy to nurture them. And perhaps most importantly, our well-being suffers as we succumb to stress, burnout, and the constant feeling of being overwhelmed. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to question the necessity of tasks and commitments. Before saying yes, ask yourself, does this align with my goals? Is this the best use of my time and energy? Can this be delegated or eliminated? By learning to say no to the non-essential, we create space for the essential. We shift from a reactive state of constantly putting out fires to a proactive state of intentional action and focused effort. The pressure to please makes navigating social expectations challenging. Saying no can be difficult, especially in the face of social pressure. We are conditioned from a young age to be agreeable, to avoid disappointing others. Saying yes is often seen as the path of least resistance, a way to maintain harmony and avoid conflict. However, constantly saying yes to please others comes at a cost. It can lead to resentment as we sacrifice our own needs and desires for the sake of others. It can also damage our relationships in the long run, as we build them on a foundation of unspoken expectations and unmet needs. The key to navigating social pressure is to recognize that saying no is not selfish, it's self-respect. It's about setting healthy boundaries and communicating our needs effectively. It's about understanding that true connection comes from authenticity, not from pretending to be someone we're not. Remember, it's okay to disappoint people sometimes. It's okay to prioritize your own well-being. By learning to say no with grace and empathy, you can build stronger, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Think of your time as a valuable asset like money. Every time you say yes to a request, you are essentially taking on a debt. You're committing a portion of your time and energy to that task or commitment. Conversely, every time you say no, you're making a deposit into your time bank. You are creating space for rest, for creative pursuits, for the things that truly matter to you. You're essentially investing in your own well-being and productivity. Just like with financial debt, it's easy to overextend ourselves with time commitments. We say yes to too many things, and before we know it, we're drowning in a sea of obligations. This is where the power of no comes in. By consciously choosing to say no to certain requests, we free up time and energy that we can then invest in our priorities. We create space for the things that matter most to us, whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion project, or simply taking care of our physical and mental health. In today's hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. From the constant barrage of notifications on our phones to the ever-growing to-do list, it's easy to feel pulled in a million different directions. This lack of focus can be a major impediment to productivity and achievement. Saying no is not just about refusing tasks or commitments, it's also about creating boundaries around our time and attention. It's about eliminating distractions and creating an environment where we can focus on the task at hand. This might mean turning off notifications, setting aside dedicated time blocks for deep work, or simply learning to say no to interruptions. It's about being intentional with our attention and protecting it from the constant demands of the modern world. By learning to say no to distractions, we reclaim our ability to focus, to concentrate, and to produce our best work. We create the mental space necessary for creativity, innovation, and deep work. Saying no can be challenging, especially if you're not used to it. However, it's a skill that can be learned and refined with practice. Here are a few strategies for saying no gracefully and effectively. Be direct and honest. Avoid beating around the bush or making excuses. Simply state that you are unable to take on the request at this time. Express gratitude. Thank the person for thinking of you and for offering you the opportunity. Offer alternatives, if possible. Suggest someone else who might be able to help or offer to assist at a later date. Keep it brief. You don't need to give a lengthy explanation for your refusal. A simple thank you, but I'm not able to commit to that right now is usually sufficient. Remember, saying no is not about being rude or dismissive. It's about setting healthy boundaries and communicating your needs effectively. With practice, you can learn to say no in a way that is both assertive and respectful.